Anyways, I'm Brendan. This is Kevin. We are Loam Lander, and what we thought would be fun was to do a interview of each other, so we can kind of share with you who we are and maybe answer some questions that you've been dying to know. So our kind of format in this particular, interview of each other is just going to be back and forth. We've just had a few questions that we've put together for us to get to know each other better, and also for us to let our future clients and current clients get to know us as well. So, Kevin, I'll let you start off. Why don't I'll ask you the first question.
Okay.
So that question is very simplistic. Who are you?
Yeah. My name is Kevin Bradshaw. I've always lived in Washington State. No interest in moving outside of the state unless I can move to Vancouver, BC. I'm okay with that. Because up
Nice.
there you get, a lot of riding, good people, a lot of riding. So definitely that'd be okay up there. Married to Rhonda for 16 years, two awesome boys, Jai and Keller, and two dogs, Augie and Abby.
Sweet.
So let's throw that question right back at you. Who is Brendan?
Who is Brendan? That's a very, very broad question. Well, I'm Brendan Marchant. I too live in Washington State, but I live in Olympia, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Kevin. Um, my wife and I, Tatum is my wife's name. We have three boys, and we have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And boy life at our house is constant and never ending. And it's always something going on. In fact, I won't be surprised if at some point during our video this morning we have one, two, or maybe three interruptions from each of those boys at some point in time. We also have a big dog named Jimbo, and he's a pretty chill, relaxed, pretty fun guy. But yeah, myself, I'm the oldest of 8 kids, which is kind of interesting. I grew up in Missouri, and my wife and I met at school in Idaho, and we had opportunity to move here to Washington State in 2004. So we've been here for a little while. But yeah, we just have a lot of fun, and especially riding bikes. It's been really good.
Nice.
Cool. So that's us, I guess, in a very short nutshell. But Kevin, moving forward, what does mountain biking mean to you? What is that? If you're to put it in a few words or a lot of words, what's mountain biking?
I think it needs to be a lot of words. I think mountain biking means different things every day I ride. Sometimes it just means I'm out there riding with friends, having a good time, creating adventures, different group rides, always something crazy going on with the group that we ride with. Mountain biking itself has its own community. We look after each other. Our biking buddies become family. We create adventures again together. I brought that up, but it happens all the time. There's a sense of caring and inside the forest and outside. Recently, my mother passed away, and having my immediate family and my MTB family, no pun intended, around me as much as possible was very beneficial. I use biking to kind of get away sometimes as well. There's another way of doing it is just get lost, reset your mind. Could be stressed, could be a lot going on, whatever it is, just a way to get away. And then it's not about how good you are. It's not about how much tease you have, even though we have a lot of kids that do that. Just about getting outside and being together. As you know, we ride with kids. I think the youngest that we ride with right now is 6, and I might be the oldest. So I mean, it's from 6 to 40 plus. I'm not the oldest, probably mentally, but I am the oldest.
Well, that's for sure. And
Yeah,
I'd say that I'm in the same boat as you, as being the youngest mentally
yeah.
at the very awesome. That's awesome. Cool. That's me too. I mean, there's so many aspects of that that are fit so perfect with what we are.
So, Brendan, what does mountain biking mean to you?
Well, mountain biking, like my personal mountain biking journey has been kind of, I don't know, up and down. Not necessarily up and down, but so I grew up always riding a bike. A bike to me was just the mode of transportation. I think like most of my friends and most of the people in my kind of demographic age range, that was how we got around. And so biking was like, that was it. That was how I got from my house to my friend's house. how we explored and just got to know our environment a lot better. But biking as an adult and as a family has completely kind of evolved and changed. About, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, my brothers and I went on what I would consider my first real mountain biking journey or ride. And I had this instant like grasp of this is what I want to do. And this is exactly the most exciting thing I can do in my life right now. And so I told my wife and I said, hey, I want to buy a bike and it's going to be expensive. And she said, yeah, you can buy a bike, but you have to make sure you buy Cruz, who is our oldest son, a bike too, because you're not going to just go out on your own. I had to make it more of a family style of event, which honestly was super cool. It's been interesting to see how my kids' relationship and I have changed with our mountain biking. I can't say I was necessarily like you know, I wasn't uninvolved in my kids' life, but I wasn't necessarily fully involved in what they were doing. I knew that school stuff was happening. I knew that, they had different other things going on, but it wasn't my everyday life. Speaking of kids trying to come in, we have a visitor that's trying to sneak in. Anyways, but that led to buying a bike for Cruz, which led to buying a bike for Beckham, who's our middle, which led to buying Tatum a bike. Side note, I kind of found a second bike that I liked a little bit more than the bike that I had originally. And so magically we needed to buy Tatum a bike. And so she got a bike and then Oliver got a bike. And then all of a sudden we're just biking a lot. And so mountain biking to me has really turned into family. It's turned into that opportunity for us to just get out together. And we've made some incredible friends along the way. And I don't see that's changing at all. In fact, every time we go out, we meet someone new. And it may be just a small interaction that turns into something really big, or it's a really big interaction that we just are super grateful we had the opportunity at that moment. So yeah, that's, I guess, a little bit about biking to me. That's kind of the crux of where this drug addiction has brought us to today.
Yeah, to add a little on my side of that about biking to me is I coach youth sports for almost 20 years. And Keller, my 15-year-old, he was at the time, he must have been 9 or so. He's like, I want to quit soccer. And we were doing it 3 times a year, and I was the coach. And I said, well, if we quit soccer, you have to do something else. Just let's go mountain biking. And that's kind of how my adventure restarted on the family side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Rhonda has a bike and Jai has a bike. He doesn't ride too much, but it just, same thing. It just gets everybody together.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as we've experienced together, it's just an awesome experience to see how confidence is built and how these kids just totally are different from one year to the next. I mean, it's just, I don't know, amazing to me, actually.
Definitely.
Cool.
So let's spin this. I'm going to ask you this next question.
Okay.
What's the dumbest thing you've ever done on a bike?
Oh, I've done lots of dumb stuff on a bike. A lot, actually. I was giving this, so we prepped these questions a couple of days ago as we were preparing for this interview, and I've been thinking about it quite a bit. And I don't know. I mean, as far as dumb stuff, like there's been like trails that I shouldn't have gone on that was pretty dumb. There's been stuff that's either been way, way above what my skill level is that I, tried and somehow managed to be successful at. I think like the dumbest thing that I didn't realize was the dumbest thing at the time was my friend and I, my best friend and I growing up, we literally did everything together. And we had this wild idea that we were going to ride our bikes into a lake. And it ended up like totally trashing our bikes to the point that they had to be completely rebuilt. Like they just had water everywhere. Everything was rusting out. And they were really nice, decent bikes. Like I was surprised. My dad was a super cheapskate growing up, and he still is. But the one thing that he always did was bought really good bikes for us. And I think about that now as the dumbest thing I ever did on a bike, because if my kids were going to do that right now on the bikes that we have invested heavily in, I would be pretty frustrated, and I feel like that was a pretty dumb thing to do on a bike. Or with a bike. And so I don't know why that sticks out. I'm sure I got in trouble about that. And I think that's probably why it sticks out. But as far as the dumbest thing, riding into the lake was just not the smartest thing to do on a really nice bike.
Probably fun though.
It was awesome. Like honestly, we had a lot of fun with it. And at the time, like we didn't think it was dumb. We tied a rope to our bikes so like we could drag them back out. And we must have been like, I don't know, maybe 14 or 15 at the time. It was pretty fun.
Perfect time to be dumb.
It was. It was. And I mean, could I see myself doing it now on an old crappy bike? Yeah, I probably could. It
Yeah,
wouldn't take too much.
I
How about
get
you,
it.
Kevin? What's the dumbest thing you've ever done on a bike?
Yeah, so I'd say as I was like 16, 17 years old, just learning clipless pedals for the very first time. So I'm at
Oh,
this local park. I'm clipping in and out. I'm doing really good, actually. At least I felt like I was doing good. I'm clipping in and out. I was doing track stands and trying to practice going super slow and clipping in and out, just in case if I fall over. And then all of a sudden, some girls walk by. And I had this awesome idea in my head at the time. It's like, I'm going to pull up a huge wheelie. I'm going to show off. So I pulled this huge wheelie and I looped out. And so to get the picture of this is I'm flat on my back, still hanging on the handlebars, still clipped in the pedals with the bike above me. I don't
sweet.
think I impressed them, but I don't necessarily say it was dumb. It's more funny, right? Because we all have dumb experiences too, similar ones of pushing myself too far on a trail or whatever else. But that one sticks out by far.
Well, you left an impression. I'm sure if you could find those girls again and
They might
describe
still
that
know.
moment, yeah, they
You're
might.
that guy.
You are the one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And the moral of that lesson is don't ride clipless pedals. I mean, what?
Yeah. And do wheelies.
That's right. That's awesome. Um, so I can have a random question for you, and this is pretty random.
So the
Um,
random questions, just so our viewers know,
yes,
we do have 3, 4 questions that we came up with that we wanted to ask each other. And then the random one, we have no clue what we're about to be asked.
here it
So
is.
here
Here it
comes
comes.
Brendan throwing his
That's
at
right.
me.
So I know that you've had a variety of different jobs, careers, different things you've done in your lifetime. Um, so this is kind of multi-part. It could be multi-part or it could be single part. What is the strangest and weirdest sales experience you've had? Because I know you've done a lot of sales in the past, and or most exciting. That could be either multi-part. You can answer that in two or one. Decide your favorite of that. And then second is what has been the most worthwhile job or career you've had in your life up to this point. And worthwhile is totally up to you. It doesn't mean that it's like a lot of money. It could be more of just like things that you actually enjoyed and were really excited about. It's whatever you want to take, wherever you want to go with those two.
Wow. Okay. The the best sales experience, I'll answer that one first, and I'll still think about the worst. Um, the best sales experience was recently was in the beverage industry, and I'm out of that now. But I was fortunate enough to sell a container load of our product to St. Thomas. And
Sweet.
so I had to go to the Caribbean for work. And with that, Rhonda got to come, but she used to live there. So it was really cool to go back and she showed me St. Thomas and we just got to go there. I actually did work really hard for the first 5 days and then we stayed an additional 5. So for work, I had to go to the Caribbean. Pretty hard job there.
That's rough.
That was awesome. I think the coldest day was like 85.
Oh man, sounds so good right now.
I still don't know the first part of that question.
So the first part was weirdest sales experience, if you've had any, and if you haven't, then
Yeah,
that's totally cool.
I know I have. I'm just right off the top of my head. That's a good random.
I told you it came at 3 o'clock this morning as I was thinking about this.
My random is not like that. I'm gonna have to think. I hate to do
Okay.
this to our viewers,
No,
but I don't
no,
have
that's
an
cool.
answer yet.
Well, we like carrots. We'll throw a carrot out there, and someday we'll come back and answer that question.
That sounds good. And then what was the third part? Sorry.
So the third part was most fulfilling job, career, and fulfilling is whatever you want to be. Like,
Yeah. Fulfilling. I would probably actually say. I mean, I've had great jobs. Rhonda and I've had cafe together. That was awesome. Like, there's many things that we've done together. But right now, I feel like it's going to become the most fulfilling. So,
mhm.
just changing lifestyle and getting back in the bicycle industry and going that direction. It's just tons of fun. I mean, so to answer the question immediately, it'd probably be back when I worked at K2 Bike.
Mhm.
I got to work on Vashon Island for K2. it was just tons of fun. And it was that whole bike community. It was a different environment. It was about hanging out together, having a good time. So that would probably be the most fulfilling. It definitely did not pay the most, but there's tons of perks. It might have paid the least of all my jobs, especially because I spent all my money on bike parts.
Yeah.
But right now, I think the direction that I'm going now as an outside sales rep, but then also working with you with Loam Lander, it's definitely just the direction that I want to go for many reasons. And I'm really excited to see where this takes us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, usually I've found that like the most fulfilling things we do never make us the most money, but we definitely have a lot of fun with.
Yes.
Uh,
Um,
cool.
Random to you, which you kind of
Random.
slowly answered earlier. Um, but it's a three-part
Okay.
ish. So where did you meet Tatum?
Okay. That's awesome.
That's
This is kind of
question
a
number
funny
one.
story, actually. So Tatum and I were both working at Wells Fargo Bank, and we were going to school in Idaho at college. And so I had been at this particular bank for a year before she had transferred schools. And so she came into the office the first day, and the service manager was walking around to the different people and was introducing her to everyone. And she came over to my desk, and I don't know, I wouldn't say I was like a prankster in the office, but I definitely didn't have a problem like making a joke or two. And so Christy, who was our service manager, she came over and she said, "Hey, Brendan, this is Tatum." And I said, "Tatum, that's the weirdest name I've ever heard." And so, of course, I put like this amazing, first impression out there, which was exactly what she liked. Um, and we just became friends. We Tatum was often my like my backup date buddy, which is once again pretty bad to admit, but like we did a lot of stuff together. But sometimes it was, "Hey Tatum, this is a last minute thing. Do you want to come hang out?" And what was cool is she was always there. So we started snowboarding together. We started hanging out a lot. We just became really, really good friends. And then it became quite apparent to the office that things were maybe more apparent to them than to me, that things were probably moving closer to us dating. In fact, every single day, Christy, that same service manager, would come over to me at my desk and say, "Brendan, Tatum's looking really nice today, isn't she?" Like, yeah, she looks all right. She's fine. And part of it was my goal was to never ever date anyone that I was working with, because I don't know, I felt like that was just a recipe for if something didn't happen right, then it wasn't going to work out very well. Um, so that was always in the back of my head, and it's like, okay, I will get to know Tatum, and we'll just be friends, and this is cool. And after not so long of us being friends, it was probably 6 months or so, then we started to do a lot more than just go snowboarding. We started actually going on real dates. And then all of a sudden we just said, "You know what? I think this is what it's supposed to be. We're gonna figure this out." And within 3 minutes or 3 months of us dating, we already had the date set, and we're getting married. So it happened
Whoa.
really fast, but we had known each other and kind of interacted with each other for about a year and a half prior to the wedding date. And here we are. We got married in December of 2004. 16 years later.
Nice. So we've been married for about the same amount of time. That's nice.
Sweet.
You answered my how long did you date before get married already.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
Who was the first person to hit on the other person?
Um, I don't know. I say it was her. Like, honestly, I wasn't a jerk, but I wasn't like necessarily showing my interest, and she was definitely showing her interest before I was showing my interest.
Okay.
Um, but it was like one of those interests where it's like I was, I don't know if especially, I mean, I think a lot of guys can relate when finally a girl recognizes that you're there, and it's, shows you a lot of interest, and all of a sudden you kind of, your interest gets more piqued, and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, we have a good relationship. Some days she wants to kill me, and other days she doesn't. It's all good.
I would say I'm happily stuck.
That's true. That's true.
Rhonda's awesome.
That's right.
Okay. Coming to our final question of the day.
Okay.
Can we throw it at you? I think our answers are gonna be similar back and forth on this,
I
but
think I think they will. Maybe we just kind of tag team and see where we both come in and out of it. I I'll go first. because I
Okay.
think I may have a few minor things that are different than yours.
Why Loam
Um,
Lander?
why Loam Lander? Loam Lander is something I'm so excited about. So currently, and for foreseeable future, I own a home inspection company. Um, and so it's a pretty glamorous life of crawl spaces and attics. And honestly, I have a fantastic team. And this mountain biking stuff has proven to be a very expensive hobby. And I've always wanted something that I could do to supplement the cost of it, but also I love this environment. I am a person that has had very few things that I'm very passionate about. I mean, I have lots of things, lots and lots of interests, but a true passion, I don't think I've ever had until the mountain biking stuff has taken off. So Loam Lander started as a kind of a whim. This summer, we had an opportunity to go to a mountain bike facility or a mountain bike camp in Oregon called Milepost 35. And we had a chance to ride an airbag, and it was the first airbag experience I've ever had. Um, what I loved about it is the opportunity to try something that I wasn't comfortable with, having kind of that comfort, but it kind of piqued my interest. And so I decided to purchase an airbag lander. And then Kevin and I started talking. And I hope that I'll kind of leave that story to him as far as when we started our conversation about this Loam Lander thing. But during that whole thought process, I remember one evening he and I were just on the phone chatting, and for some reason we were talking about loam. I had started an Instagram profile we called it the Loam Rider, and all of a sudden Kevin said Loam Lander out of nowhere. I mean, it was related to landers, and I was like, wow. I had that moment of that's the name. That's exactly what it needs to be called, is the Loam Lander. If you don't know what loam is, loam's a soil, and it's here in the Pacific Northwest. It's actually in lots of places, but it's a soil that's really got a lot of great properties when it comes to mountain biking. It's both soft and forgiving, but also has tons of traction. And so it allows you to be able to really rail and ride a corner or ride a trail at breakneck speeds, but also have a little comfort that if you totally wipe out, you're not going to be wiping your face off of rocks and just getting torn up. If you've never ridden loam soil, like, it is beauty, it's pure awesomeness, and you'll never want to ride any other types of soil. Like, it's just insane. So that's kind of how Loam Lander started for me. It was just kind of that we started with a few airbag experiences, and some conversations got started. And here we are now, really ready to launch. And I'm so excited. Like, this is going to
The
be
excitement's
so
coming on
awesome.
quick. It's so
So
much fun.
it is.
You and I
Oh,
talk
it's
more
so,
than we
so
talk
rad.
to our wives now.
So yeah, a little bit. And
Yeah,
honestly, I think they're happy about that. I mean, I get my number of words out, they talk to me, and they get number of words out, and maybe I hear half of
yeah,
them.
definitely.
It's all good. It's normal stuff.
So why Lone Lander to me is similar to everything you said. Is you know we started talking. Well, we went and hit a couple airbags, and right away, you and I, just being who we are, we're like, we would do this different. We would do this different. This would be safer. This would be more features. How do we increase the fun factor of it? And so with brainstorming and you saying that, hey, I just bought one. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? And then we rode yours, and we were again going further on. Okay, how can we make the fun factor increase? And so we have some fun, exciting things going to happen. I don't want to release everything that's happening. That's going to be different than the others in the market. But it was just so much fun to sit there and brainstorm with you, to where we are just constantly talking back and forth. And this is before we even decided that we were doing this, right? It's just how to do it, how to make it fun,
Right.
how to embed ourselves even further in this MTB community, family, direction, drug,
The
how to ride
drug.
off our bicycles. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, there's
But
nothing
we have
wrong with
some
that.
like really, really cool stuff coming in the very near future. And not just from design, but some really cool industry partners that we're partnering with. We have announced the one of Galbraith Gravity, but we have others coming on board too. And it's just real exciting. And then even more than that is just telling people what we're doing, and the amount of excitement they have is almost as much as we have. And it's our business. Like, they're like, no way, it's just tons of fun. And then in the near future,
It's
we'll
so
have
fun.
multiple airbags on your property, and then they'll bring in more family, and to see the kids progress on an airbag, it just got all of us excited. An airbag saved my life. I was way better than my bike. I bike did not. I had to sell the bike. But it's just a way to embed ourselves further into the community. Tons of fun. I'm so excited that it's with you and your family. And I say your family because that's what it is. And
It is.
yeah, I think you answered it already, and then I just added a little more to it.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I was yesterday, Kevin and I went on a ride. We were at Duthie Hill, and if you're not familiar with Duthie, it's just a mountain bike park here in Washington. And I don't know if he realized this, but we had two experiences that were Loam Lander specific. One of them, conversation that I was just listening to him talk to some kids about while we were watching our boys and do some stuff that was beyond our skill levels. But it was exciting to see the excitement on these people's faces as we were talking about it. And then we had another experience where we were talking to a friend of ours that their team just ordered an airbag from us, and it's going to be so rad. I can't wait to show that one off. But what I don't think he realized it was us that was facilitating that. And that was really fun. Like, it's just strange that that's, I don't know. To me, it's that secret agent. Like, when you have something really cool and you're really part of it, but yet a lot of people don't know you're part of it. To me,
it is. And there's so much more I want to share right now with everyone, but we have some cool things happening. So I don't want to lay it all out there. We got to save that for another.
No, we don't want
another interview.
Yeah. No, we don't want anyone else to well, we want you to all to know about it. We just don't want it to be known yet, because it's that tease is the best thing. It just makes you want to come back for more. That's right. Almost there. Cool. This has been super fun. I actually enjoyed this. Maybe we need to do a podcast or something, because this was pretty chill. Anything else you'd like to leave us on, Kevin, before we decide that we fulfilled our desires in this interview?
I think it'd be kind of fun to throw a question at the end to others, because we have been talking about a podcast, which is kind of crazy. And I have this big contraption mic in front of me now, which seems to be working good. Ask to our viewers, to our friends, to anybody who's interested, questions about Loam Lander. Ask us, Loam Lander. A month or so, our website will be fully operational. Pricing, everything will be on that. But ask us random questions. Ask us questions that make us think. So I throw that out there, and then we'll answer those in future podcasts.